Bristol City have confirmed the departure of Fally Mayulu on a loan deal to Austrian side Sturm Graz. He rejoins the Austrian league after spending just 6 months here at Ashton Gate, and I'll be dissecting what's gone wrong for Fally Mayulu in his time at Bristol City and why this deal has ultimately been sanctioned by the football club. Fally joined Bristol City this summer for a reported fee of around £2.5 million, and there's been a lot of fees banded about for Fally, but I'd say it's probably averages about there. So it's a pretty considerable transfer fee for a club of our size, and not in receipt of parachute payments or anything, but I won't go down that rabbit hole. But yeah, a pretty considerable transfer fee for him, and obviously Sinclair Armstrong. Two players brought in last summer with, I'd say, the knowledge or the expectation that both of them would be competing for that number 9 spot, and both of them would be having that expectation on them to go and be the ones to go and deliver for Bristol City. Whether that's one of them, both of them contributing on a regular basis, they'd be the ones that Liam Manning would bank on. Ultimately, it's not quite panned out that way for many reasons. Fally, obviously struggled for form and for goals and confidence and whatnot, and Sinclair Armstrong's had a few injury problems recently and also struggled for form a little bit. And obviously, Naki Wells has really come into his own this season, and Sam Bell as well has kind of re-emerged as a bit of a number 9 option for Liam Manning recently since his return from injury. So it's been a difficult period for Fally, especially with a lot of competition around him, and well, he's just not had the game time he would have needed. I relate Fally's situation a lot to what Anis Mehmeti was going through, and when he came in through the door of Bristol City under Nigel Pearson, when Nigel Pearson completely bombed him out the squad, and it just kind of felt like a disregard to Anis Mehmeti, who was signed as a maverick player, wasn't he? And I think I was harping on about the fact that Mehmeti needs game times, even if he's not playing regularly. He just needs a run of games to kind of get himself up to speed and get himself used to the system and get himself used to the championship. And eventually, well, when Manning came in, Mehmeti was afforded that kind of time and that kind of freedom a little bit, and he was now, well, he's been really good this season and it's been one of our top producers in an attacking sense. This season has really helped us kind of improve sizably on last season. So, and he's been, from an individual perspective, that is. And Fally's obviously not been afforded that this season. That may be because Bristol City as a club are looking a little bit more of a higher ceiling in terms of we want to be up there. We want to be up there with the top boys in the championship this season. You just have to look at our league position. I think it's 8th at the moment, 3 points off the playoffs. We want players in the final third who are going to be delivering on a consistent basis and going to be firing Bristol City up the league. And unfortunately for Fally, he hasn't been afforded that time or those minutes. There was so much initial excitement with Fally, where the first game on opening day away at Hull came off the bench and scored what looked like to be a winner late on, and with a brilliant volley and a brilliant finish, and might have been his first touch, something like that. It's brilliant goal, and he then backs it up with coming off the bench again in the second game, against Millwall, and starts to come back from 3-2 down and scores a magnificent goal, a magnificent team goal, and he finishes off brilliantly. And then you're going, right, this guy fits perfectly into the system. This guy looks really good, and he looks like he's going to be a promising player. He just needs to be utilised more. I think one of the major mistakes we did make with him was we delayed that the first league start, I think, way too long. I think it took Liam Manning way too long to give him his first league start. That was against Blackburn, and that was in late September, no, mid-September, 14th of September, and I think from there on, it kind of felt like maybe there was not that much faith in him, and ultimately that's been one of the major reasons why this deal has ultimately been sanctioned. His first league start was away at Blackburn, an absolute stinker from everyone, the whole team really, and he got hooked at half time, and it just felt like he was a bit of a scapegoat from that point on, and it just nothing ever really clicked, and that was the start of this kind of build-up of toxicity up against Fally. And then he had that Leeds at home game where him and Sinclair Armstrong both came on the pitch and played as a front two. I think 3 times we've done it this season, Liam Manning, and didn't really look on the same wavelength, and that caused even more kind of frustration amongst the fan base of, is this guy actually that good, and is he as good as we thought he was initially? And then that second start away at West Brom, where another pretty dismal team performance. And then he was, I think he was just, yeah, he was anonymous um, and had a bit of a poor game. And again, look, it doesn't help when he's given 2 starts in September and the next one happens in December. It's a massive ask for any footballer to come through that period. And he's not even injured. He's just not played regularly. He's not been given regular minutes, and just felt so bad for him. And yeah, he was given that game, and he was also given the Luton game at home where we actually won. But he was also, again, pretty anonymous and really disappointing kind of period of time for Fally, especially after such a promising start. Inaki Wells has been absolutely fantastic this season, scored a magnificent winner against Blackburn yesterday. And, we've had Sinclair Armstrong. He showed good signs to start with. He's got a lot of raw pace, a lot of dynamism, a lot of athleticism, if I can get my words out. But he also was a bit inconsistent. And then Sam Bell, who obviously we utilised most of his City career out on the wings, and he was then deployed as a striker ahead of Fally Mayulu in some of these games. Against Luton, where he was brought off a half-time Fally, Sam Bell actually took his place, and he's just kind of going, if a player who we've used as a winger, most of his played as a winger most of his career, professional career, is being deployed ahead of you as a main number 9, and then it's a pretty damning indictment of what Liam Manning ultimately thought of him. And Manning did back him publicly after that West Brom game, where he kind of said, we think Fally's kind of developing at a nice rate, and maybe they clearly did trust him. Well, maybe didn't trust him that much. If they thought this deal we're going through was fine. There was that outrageous volley attempt against Derby where he completely missed it, and on another day, for a confident striker with maybe a couple of goals behind him, a few goals behind him recently, he might well have buried that. And then the confidence shown from Manning was clearly there because he was given a start against Wolves, and yeah, that just I think that was the nail in the coffin, and that ultimately might well be his final game in a Bristol City shirt. He was hooked, and not a large proportion, but a proportion of the Ashton Gate crowd jeered him off the pitch, which just doesn't help. 22-year-old moving to a different country, and I know it's professional football, and everyone deserves to be treated equally, but just you could see he just was completely short of anything he had before that, and it just looked really gone. And he's been missing from the last couple of match days in the league. Wasn't in the matchday squad for Sheffield for the game away at Sheffield Wednesday, and neither was he in the matchday squad for the game against Blackburn. And Naki Wells scored yesterday, and Sinclair Armstrong is back up and running, and he started yesterday as well, and put in a pretty decent performance. And Sam Bell is again being utilised ahead of Fally, just doesn't help him. And you look at the club in that situation and go, right, you've got Naki Wells, you've got Sinclair Armstrong, you've got Sam Bell, you've got Fally Mayulu, you've got 4 options, and you've got Harry Cornick as well. Maybe you've really got 5 options in that forward line. Or is it just this case of circumstances doesn't help him? Was Sam Bell, was Harry Cornick, Harry Cornick's not been used this season, was Sam Bell and Naki Wells, were they planned on being used as much as they have been in that forward line position, in that number 9 position, sorry. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe it's completely circumstantial. Maybe Fally's brought this on himself. But yeah, it's just been a pretty disastrous 6 months or so for Fally at Ashton Gate, and hopefully this loan move can bring him some confidence, and maybe there may still be a loan, kind of a route back for Fally into the first team at Ashton Gate, which I would absolutely love, because I still think there's a massively really good talented player in there, has shown in those first 2 games. Well, it hasn't worked out for Fally, and ultimately questions will be asked of the recruitment team, and questions will be asked on why this hasn't worked out. And obviously they're more than fair, because we spent a pretty considerable, sizable transfer fee on him, and it just hasn't worked out. And 3 starts in the league, 2 goals, it's not really enough, and not really showing enough either. So yeah, hopefully this loan move to Austria gives him that kind of those few months to kind of get himself back up to kind of what would be par confidence, and hopefully he gets a few goals. Austria, Sturm Graz, really top side in Austria. They're in the Champions League. maybe there's still maybe some high profile goals, and maybe he catches the eye of a few top European clubs. And if he doesn't come back to Ashton Gate, and if he has played his last game for Bristol City, well, good luck to him. Good luck to whatever he does, and I wish him the best of luck in Austria. And I really, really hope he does come back a much better player, a much more confident player. But if this goes ridiculously well for Fally in this few months on loan, well, there could be a pretty sizable transfer fee coming Bristol City's way, but possibly. And I'm led to believe there's no option to buy for Sturm Graz potentially in this loan deal. So yeah, there may actually be a pretty decent recouping of our transfer fee that we paid for him, which was pretty considerable for a club of our stature in the Championship. So you know what? Good luck to him. Good luck to him, and seriously hope that he does. He absolutely smash it in Austria, because I still think there's a pretty decent player in there. But what next for Bristol City? Where do we go from here? Because there's been a lot of talk, and rightly so again, of are we going to add another player in the forward line this January? Well, with Fally's departure, that leaves us, if we're disregarding Harry Cornick because he's not played a single minute for us this season, Sinclair Armstrong, Nahki Wells, and Sam Bell as our front three. If we kind of expect Sam Bell to possibly move out to one of the wings as the season progresses, I don't know if that's a fair assumption or not. He may well be considered as a third option in a front line, and well, if that's the case, great, good to have options. But maybe he might move out to on one of the flanks as the season progresses. That leaves us really with Sinclair Armstrong and Nahki Wells, who Nahki Wells been brilliant this season for the minutes he's actually produced has been magnificent, and but he's still 34 years old. He's still got to manage his minutes quite well. Sinclair Armstrong coming back from an injury, we've got to manage his minutes. Still young, still robust, still inconsistent. Maybe not as much of a goal threat as we would like. So is there scope for Bristol City to add another forward in this January transfer window? Well, Ali Al-Hamadi was kind of touted about a little bit, and someone I quite like from his Wimbledon days, and he scored against us for Ipswich last season and showed signs in the Championship in their promotion. He's now gone off to Stoke for the rest of the season. Is there really are there going to be any options available to Bristol City, even on a loan deal, that are going to be affordable, that are going to be achievable for Bristol City? Are we looking at a permanent deal, in which case that's going to be really, really difficult to pull off? With the demand for strikers at this level is crazy, and well, can Bristol City pull it off? Oh well, it'll be interesting to know. But in my humble opinion, I still think we need another forward to get into those number 9 positions. Maybe someone with a little bit of a different profile to Nahki Wells. Nahki Wells, a really good finisher, really clever movement. Sinclair Armstrong, bit of robust, bit of pacing behind you. That gives you that option to go a bit more direct and play down the line, and you'll know he'll be there trying to chase after the ball. Maybe we need someone a little bit with maybe a combination of the two to get on loan. Maybe someone from the Premier League comes in on loan just to help us kind of keep going in this playoff race that we're in, and hopefully can help bolster this Bristol City squad. Well, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Fally Mayulu has joined Sturm Graz on loan for the rest of the season. Really disappointing move, I'm sure, for the French forward, and well, everyone concerned with Bristol City. A move that just hasn't worked out so far. Anyway, for City, and well, we move on. We kind of bite the bullet a little bit, and hopefully that gives us a little bit of scope in the January transfer window to maybe, just maybe, make one addition, especially in the forward line. We'll find out come the January transfer window deadline. But thank you very much for watching. Keep safe, everyone. Catch you all later. Cheers.